everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from Leviathan, and we are painting one of the 3 big boys of the Tyranid side. Yes, we're painting the Neurotyrant, the brand new Tyrant for the Tyranids, and he's an absolutely gorgeous model. He's a little bit smaller than I perhaps first anticipated, but he's still very much a centerpiece and focal point for the battlefield, and he looks amazing. So we're going to be painting him up today, and as always, a massive thank you to Games Workshop for sending me this box early to build up and paint for all of you. And now we're just going to jump in. Now we're not going to focus on the Neuroloids really at all, because they are just small versions of him. They're identical. And, well, any colours that we apply to him will be the same as they are on these guys. So that's all good. So we're just going to focus on him. But we'll be painting these up at the same time, and we'll show you some updates as we go along. So the place we're going to start on the Neurotyrant is on all the skin, as we have done with all of the other Tyranids. And the colour we're going to be using first for this is a roughly 3 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Carroburg Crimson mix. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of those tentacles and all of that madness. Now the best way to do this is to kind of just pick one and follow it to its conclusion. So we're just going to start with this one just here, and we're going to come from the top here, and then we're just going to start painting this all the way down to where we can't see it anymore. Flip it over, and then we're going to finish it off like that. And so on and so forth. So this is going to be the next one that we do. Just here. Just like this. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Magos Purple, and we're going to apply this over the tops of like the tips of the tentacles and things where we want these to kind of start blending in to other colours. So for example, around here on the mandibles, yeah, the mandibles, we've got 2, so we're going to apply this all over these. Like that sort of thing. And make sure we get the inside as well. Like that. And then on all of our tentacles, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this, and then we're going to blend it out. So we're not going to be doing any of the hands and things like that, but for example, we're going to just start on this tentacle here. We're going to apply the Magos Purple up to around about 1/3. Then we're going to wash the brush. Then we're just going to feather away at where those 2 colours meet to create a little transition. And then we do the same thing on the back. Wash the brush. And then we smooth it out like that. So we'll demonstrate on a big one as well. So for example, this one just here. going to get this all over the top of the baubles, like this. Then we're going to bring it up to approximately a third. Wash the brush, and then feather away where those two colours meet, like that. Then we just flip him over and we do the same thing on the back. So with that done, this is where things diverge a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Shyish Purple and we're going to do a little bit more blending, and this is just on the mandibles. So we're going to take the Shyish Purple and apply it up to around about halfway. We're going to wash the brush, and then we're going to smooth out the transition by feathering away, like that. Do the same thing on the other one. Wash the brush. Just like that. With those mandibles now done, we then take a 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium and Shyish Purple, and we're going to do this over the top of our little tentacles, like this one here, and then we're going to once again wash the brush and just blend those together. And we're going to do this on the 4 that we've got, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so with that done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts contrast medium to 1 part Volupus Pink. And we're going to use this on our bigger tentacles. Same thing again, just going to apply this, wash the brush, then smooth it out. So this one here and this one here on the other side. Not counting the tail right now. And with that done, we're now going to go on the tail with some Luxion Purple. I'm going to apply this like this over the top. We're going to wash the brush, and then we're going to feather away. So with that all now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Wraithbone and we're going to gently dry brush this over the top of the skin. Now what we're looking to do is we're looking to mostly relayer everywhere that hasn't really been blended, and then just gently catch the areas that have been. So down this tail, for example, we're going to slowly build this up. Down to around about there. Then we're going to very gently just catch the ridges. Like that sort of thing. Similarly over here, we're going to relayer around the top here. And we're just going to very gently dry brush our way in to the blended area, like that sort of thing. It might take you a couple of passes. So I'm going to grab a little bit more Wraithbone. And then we're just going to go around all of the skin, like that sort of thing. So with that done, here we are. We've got our skin pretty much all finished. We will be revisiting a little bit of it later, but for now we're going to move on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 3 parts Flesh Tearers Red to 1 part Sigvald Burgundy mix, and we're going to apply this to the inside of the carapace. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Briar Queen Chill, and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the brains. Now we do have a slightly different coloured brain on the top here, but it still starts with the same base colour in Briar Queen Chill. And what we want to do is we also want to avoid that kind of central column. And don't forget about the other little brains that are hiding away around the back and underneath. Just whilst we're waiting for all of those brains to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion and we're going to use this on all of the spikes and claws. scattered around. So with that done and our brains now dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Tyran Blue and we're going to apply this over the top of the brain part, but we're going to just avoid the kind of central reservation of the brain. We're going to do that with a slightly different bit, so it's this bit kind of just coming along here next to that spine. So we're just going to avoid that just for the moment. So with that Tyran Blue applied, we're then going to take some Coelia Greenshade and we're going to apply this over the top of that central reservation, like that. I'm going to apply a little bit of this around the brain, close to where that central bit is, like that. And we're also going to apply this over the top of the other brains. With that now done, we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of that central bit, that little spine. Like that. And we're going to apply this over the top of the sort of housing for the brain, I guess. And so with that done, we're now going to apply our final base coat, which is going to be a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Shyish Purple and Leviathan Purple, and this is going to be for all the outside of the carapace. Now, what I've done is I've actually taken 4 brushfuls of each, so it's technically a 4-to-4, but we're just going to start applying this over the top of all of our purple carapace. And so with that now done, we've just got one shade to apply, and that is going to be some Carroburg Crimson. And we'll apply this over the top of the red and over the top of the Guilliman Flesh. And with that Carroburg Crimson applied, forgive me, but there is one last little thing we're going to do, which is to take some Luxion Purple. I'm going to apply this going across the middle. Of that bit up there, like that. So with that done, our Neurotyrant is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready, and he's looking pretty awesome, as are his Neuroloids, as you can see before you. However, we're not going to leave it there. No, of course we're not. We're going to do some highlights to take him to the next level. And the first one we're going to do is some thinned down Genestealer Purple, because this is the one that's going to take the longest to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start highlighting all of the armor We're going to be doing that traditional Tyranids thing. Showing the little lines at the edge of the armor plates. And I would recommend at this point having the box art open in front of you, just so that you can kind of follow along with the direction of where they've placed their highlights. But otherwise, you just want to take your time. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with all that Genestealer Purple applied, to finish off the purple, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Slaanesh Grey and we're going to very gently dry brush this over the sharpest points. So with that now done, what we're going to do is move on, because the purple is now finished. We're going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull here. I'm going to use this to pick out the teeth. So with that now done, we're going to move on to the brain, and the colour that we're going to be using to highlight all of the brain's areas is some thinned down Gauss Blaster Green. So we're going to look to pick out the kind of central bit. As well as the brain itself. So with that now done, we're going to move on, because the brain is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Russ Grey, and we're going to use this to highlight the claws, which is different to how we've done the rest of the Tyranids, but because we've got so much Gauss Blaster Green going on that brain, doing these the same way would be a little bit like an overload. And so with that now done, we're going to take some Kislev Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of the baubles down here. So we're going to highlight the little spikes, but then when it comes to the actual main body of them, we're going to re-layer it. And so finally, just to finish him off, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to pick out the little spikes. And to add a little highlight. Like that. So with that done, our Neurotyrant is now finished, as are the Neuroloids. However, we are just going to very quickly work on the base. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some black Templar, and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the rocks and soil. Just whilst we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over this poor unfortunate librarian's face. And with that now done, we're going to take some Luxion Purple and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the growing Tyranid organism. So with that done, we're then going to take some Leviadon Blue and we're going to apply this over the top of the helmet. And with that done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to use this on the cables. And then next up, we're going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over the top of the soft neck ring, like that. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining details on the base. So with that now done, we're going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade all the purple and all the silver. And so with that done, whilst we're waiting for all that to dry, we now need to colour in all that negative space. And we're going to do this using some Armageddon Dust. So once that's all finally dry, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the Armageddon Dust. Like this. And we'll also apply this over the top of any kind of solid bits of rock. So for example, this bit, just here. And this bit. Just whilst we're waiting for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some blood for the blood god. I'm going to apply this over the top of the librarian's eye and around this wound. In his head. And with that now done, we're going to dry brush the entirety of the base with some Tyrant Skull. And then all that's left to do after that is to add some tufts and to paint in the rim. And so with his base complete, our Neurotyrant is now finished. The giant brain behind the forces of Leviathan in the Leviathan box is really cool. I like it a lot. Neurotyrant, being a new Tyrant model, gives you another kind of different option for playing the Tyranids, which is really cool. Although, I suspect most people will probably run one of these and a Hive Tyrant. Maybe there'll be a third Tyrant. I don't know. Who knows? If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster, just like these bosses have done, scrolling up on the screen before you, whose continued support helps me continue to make all the wonderful content that you enjoy. Alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button on the channel page or just below this video, like these wonderful, amazing people have done. And if you really like this video and you just want to shoot me a little thanks, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.